Hello and welcome to another update on oil. We'll take a look at the light crude oil futures today, CL1 WTI chart. A lot of you have asked for an update. It is not a chart I update regularly. However, from time to time, I update it. So at the moment, it's, I think, important to highlight that this chart, honestly, since 2022, it hasn't really done much. Of course, it's gone down, it's gone up, but it's not been trending, okay? So it has really only gone sideways. And it's important to understand when we look at a chart like that, what are actually meaningful chart movements? You know, what is actually meaningful? Is any of this really meaningful? Don't think so. Was this meaningful? Well, we haven't even broken really below these lows. And now we're just jumping back into the range. So my view is still that we could be dealing with some kind of a B wave here. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can see that a little bit more clearly. The idea is we had a significant rally, obviously, from the 2020 low. And then this was an A wave. And I think we are still working on that correction from the rally after the 2020 lows. And that's why it's so choppy, so messy. And you know, this was the move to be in. This was the trending move. And now we're just moving sideways overall. And we're dealing with a B wave because this was likely only just the A wave of that correction. First move down of the correction into the 2023 lows. Could it be that we are still in the B wave? That's the idea, right? So A wave up, B wave down. Maybe we're now moving up in the C wave. And that would then be A wave down, B wave up before we go down further. Alternatively, the structure is slightly different. These are the two likely pathways I see. Because we can say that this B wave that likely is still unfolding in my preferred interpretation already topped here in 2023. And we're moving down in some kind of a strange diagonal pattern. But the structure doesn't really align with that so much. Not with the latest push up. So I think the yellow count is still plausible, very plausible. Let's zoom in a bit. That means I'm focusing primarily on the yellow count, at least as long as support is holding. Now, what we had down here was a potential B wave low. You can label this as a 1-2 setup, the swing low early in March, yeah. And we're now moving up in the third wave. So we have a 1, a 2. We could now be in the third wave. Now, what is tricky if I go to a smaller time frame? It is a bit tricky here, this initial move up. Is this really a 5-wave move up? I don't think so. So it might be that we're dealing here with a diagonal pattern in wave C. So that means we might not get all 5 waves up complete, okay? That's the tricky part here. That means the move up could only be an A wave. But, you know, we don't want to think too far ahead. All I want to say is maybe the third wave isn't going to unfold as 5 waves. It might unfold as an A, B, C structure. So I'm going to label that here as kind of a different route in case we break below the upper support here. Could very well be that we are, instead of a 4th wave, we're in a B wave. But at the moment, this initial move up is still unfolding. Nearest micro support is, let's just adjust it slightly. Nearest micro support is between $66.45 and $70.29. So when the next pullback starts, ideally the price finds support here, gives us one more high. That would mean third wave complete. Then we can get another 4-5 pattern. Now, this C wave should be 5 waves anyway. The question is, does this C wave unfold as an impulse or as a diagonal pattern? Both are plausible scenarios. The white count, as I said, is not very likely. In the white count, we are in an internal B wave rally, but this will be invalidated with a break above the $78.70 level. We're getting closer there. So I would say a break below 66.45 will signal at least a local top in place, but then we can still monitor whether the price is forming a corrective pullback that's just a bit deeper. Then we could still be in the third wave, but it might be a B wave of the third wave. These are sort of the scenarios I'm tracking right now. If we are in a B wave of the third wave, the market must hold above the 5th of May low, which formed at $56 to keep the overall uptrend here alive. It would just be a much more bumpy ride. So yeah, this is at the moment what I'm tracking here. I mean, it's important to understand there's likely going to be some structural resistance in this region around $77. Yeah, you see here these previous swing highs, they align there. And then slightly above, I mean, it's a bit of a range. Maybe resistance starts around 77 all the way up to round about 78.60. So this would be an area of interest to watch. Maybe we'll stretch towards that before we then start a corrective pullback. That's the update on WTI. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates on stocks, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, other stocks updates, indices, and so much more, check out our stocks membership. You'll find the link in the description. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.